It is that time again. We're gonna go over some stuff for July. I'm gonna try to stay, well, actually my whole garden's not in the shade at all right now. It is after 4 o'clock and it's pretty warm still. It was really warm today, and so I'm gonna try to go over some of this stuff. We're gonna look at some of the stuff I have planted, some of the things I'm going to do that this book says, and just kind of see where we're at for July. First thing it says is it's the height of summer. Why, yes, it is the height of summer. The days are long now. We've bypassed the longest day of the year, so I know here it's not getting dark until almost 9 o'clock or 9 o'clock. I mean, it's still bright, kind of. Now the temperatures are most likely the highest. They have been, it's been pretty warm here. I think we're getting ready to get a little bit cooler temperatures and maybe some rain, but it is warm. It is warm and very humid here where we are. But as long as I keep my garden watered, it loves the sunshine. So if I keep it watered, it just grows. It is doing really well this year. And I want to say part of that is because I have this irrigation system in that has helped me out so much this year with these 24 raised beds. There's no way I'd be watering all the time. We've got some top tasks for July. I'm out in the shade of a bean plant right now. So we're going to harvest green beans, runner beans, zucchinis, carrots, beets, onions, shallots, new potatoes, and summer salads. Now I have been harvesting zucchinis and carrots and beets. I'm hoping onions, potatoes. Don't have cherries, unfortunately. And you know my strawberry saga. I have been picking lots of the pink lemonade blueberries. The gooseberries came on a little earlier, and I have been picking blackberries. They actually just started. So I'm going to be planting, though. You see where it says plant out cabbages, cauliflowers, and all that good stuff for fall and winter. I'm going to start my seeds the first part of July. This is actually the last day of June that I'm recording this. So I plan to start some new seeds in about a week or so. Probably, I don't know how I'm going to do that. We picked a week to go on vacation in July. What I was thinking, I have no idea. So I'm going to be starting some seeds. I do want to plant some more beets and kohlrabi and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I haven't decided if I'm going to start them inside in cells or if I'm just going to go ahead and plant them, because I do have the irrigation and then it will water them. And I can set that. I actually have it on a timer now, and I can set it to water it every day if I want to, which is quite possible because it's really, really dry and really hot right now. There is water as often as you can to keep those crops from bolting and keep them healthy. So many seeds all in my greenhouse, unfortunately, but I did have lots of seeds. I mentioned to thin out apples and peaches and such. I do not have that problem here, but I know that if you have them come on and you have too many, they'll compete, and if they're too close, it can cause disease and all that kind of stuff. So it probably would be a good idea to do that if you do have, you know, nice fruit trees. Mine are so. I have some new ones and they're not doing anything yet. A few of these vegetables they talk about harvesting that I do not have. Onions I do have, but I planted them late. So I got a little late start on that. Peas. Now peas I have been harvesting, and I'm getting ready to pull these out and plant some cucumbers here for a second crop of cucumbers. Fortunately, my broccoli just didn't. I've never really had good luck with broccoli. I'm gonna keep trying it because I do want to grow some beets. I've already harvested all of my beets and taken them in, and I actually want to plant some more potatoes. I do have potatoes, but I probably need to check on them later in July and see if they will be ready. Now I do have some runner beans that are going to be ready. It looks like even now, I mean, they do have some beans forming. I don't know that they're they're probably going to be ready though in the next few days. They're not super tiny, but give them maybe a couple of days and I think they'll be good. This mentions fennel, which I didn't get to grow, marrows, which I don't have those done either, zucchini. My zucchini just started coming on and I've gotten some of those. I actually just fermented some zucchini. Garlic, I just pulled some garlic. Where'd that go? There it is. I just pulled some garlic out of there, out of the ground. Green beans. I don't actually have just bush beans. I am going to get some bush bean seeds though, because I do want to plant some next year, or even if I get some later underneath my tomato plants, because they are a good crop to help put nitrogen in the soil, and of course tomatoes are heavy nitrogen feeders. And carrots, now I have almost got all my carrots out. I probably need to finish pulling these, and then I do have some new ones that I planted in there. And so I really need to get the other ones out. So you can see some of the smaller ones that are coming up. I tried to plant after these got up so high. I tried to go ahead and plant another succession. I didn't get too many, but I think, I don't know, it might be okay. Not get turnips planted, but actually I might have. That might be what's over in those tomato plants. I do have kohlrabi, and if you can see those down in there, I do have those that I need to get out of there. But check out these beautiful marigolds. Like, I went crazy planting marigolds. I had all these seeds that I started, and they have done really well. Like, they have kept stuff, I guess, you know how you can interplant with things and keep bugs away? Yep. These, I mean, look at those. They're gorgeous. Also mentions chilies and peppers. Mine are not big enough to harvest yet. Those got a little bit of a late start. I didn't plant eggplant. Spinach I've just never had good luck with. Rhubarb. So I'm not going to pick any of my rhubarb. This is the last chance to pick rhubarb. I'm leaving mine until next year. I'm kind of sad about that decision, but I just don't think I'd have time to do anything with it right now anyways. And I just want it to get a really good root system down before I, you know, start like cutting off and harvesting from it. So next year though, I'm gonna have some nice rhubarb. So radishes, harvest radishes. Okay, so I did not plant more. I did harvest some, but I won't be harvesting these because I have been wanting to save some seed. I might have enough for you too. Look at all those. Those are all seed pods. In case you've never seen what a radish does when it goes to seed, these are all seed pods. And somehow I'm gonna have to get them out of this mesh hoop without making them go everywhere. Plan is to do that before they die off, which actually I just noticed some of them look like they're dying off, because if I don't, it will probably split them wide open and I will have radish seeds everywhere. I do not have chicory planted. I do have lettuces planted though. So we got these seeds for free and I planted this, and as you can tell the green is coming back. Now there was purple lettuce here. I can't remember what it was called. I cut it and it did not come back, but this was all cut and now it's growing back. That's one thing that's kind of neat about lettuces, is they will grow back. Now it's so warm though, I don't know that they're gonna do really good, but I freeze dried them and powderized them. I'm so excited about tomatoes. Oh, chicken. I saw her in here earlier. She ate one of my squashes yesterday. I just put these up, of course, you know, now you can see all the tomatoes, and she came in here and ate that. Grr. We have tomatoes over here. Some of these I have no idea what they are because these are some of the ones that got dumped out. I've got some more over here. I actually harvested some of these little ones right here. They're orange. And I have a bunch from this volunteer, which I'm assuming these are Romas, maybe. But there's actually quite a few on there. I mean, this is done really well. I mean, check out the size of that stalk in there. So I just let this come up. This was supposed to be jicamas. They're still down in there, but you can't see them really well, and they haven't decided to like actually come up on this trellis yet. So I do not have scallions, and arugula I do not have, or celery. I think celery would be kind of cool to grow, but I don't eat it, so I don't grow it. They look maybe kind of pitiful. They got some droopy leaves because it's really, really hot out here. But these are my cucumber plants. These are old tomato cages that we had made, and I decided to put them in here and grow them vertically. They're doing really well. I keep them trimmed, and they just in the last week or so started really putting on cucumbers, so that's pretty exciting. But we're going to be gone for a week, so that will be fun. I don't know what I'll come back to, but another reason why I'm going to go ahead and start some more whenever I pull out those peas. There's so many fruits that we can pick this month. Blackberries being one of them, this big old bush back here. I picked those this morning, and so I trimmed, you can look at my video on that, I trimmed my blueberry bushes this year. I have never trimmed them before, and I'm gonna have to trim them again because I don't know what happened, but they have grown like crazy. And I have so many pink lemonade blueberries on these. I've maybe had like a handful before, and it took them years to even produce. So either I was doing something wrong or they just take forever. But these are so big. Check these out. Now these pink lemonade blueberries are supposed to be able to be, you're supposed to be able to keep them like in your landscape. So my plan is, if you'll see, I have some softwood growth coming up, and so any of this softwood growth that you can see in there, actually supposed to be able to take that and root it and start new bushes. So instead of buying them, I'm gonna see if I can start a bunch, because who doesn't love pink blueberries? They're so cool and they're really good. I think I might have a plum tree, but I have like three trees that I have no idea what they are. I don't have currants. I don't have cherries either, or black currants. I do have those blueberries. Actually, I have blueberries and pink lemonade blueberries. I have gooseberries, and I think that one plant is not going to live, but the other two are doing good so far. You know my strawberry saga, even though I did buy a couple of plants from Rural King on clearance, and they had like 5 or 6 plants in each of them, plus runners. So those are probably going to go in the ground, hopefully, before we leave to go on vacation. But I'm not really sure because I don't have irrigation out here. And I could probably set them in a thing of water and they would be okay. Blackberries, I have lots of blackberries, so I've been harvesting those. I don't have raspberries. I do have, I believe, an apricot tree, but it's not producing anything yet. Peaches, I have 1 peach on my tree this year. And melons, I have lots of melons planted. I have watermelons planted, like all kinds of watermelons planted. My husband has watermelons planted. I have volunteer melons coming up that I think are either cucamelons or something like that. Lots of those coming up too. Might have to figure out what to do with all those melons, which I do have a watermelon concentrate, lemonade concentrate that I made. That's everybody seems to like. I don't really like watermelon. I don't know why. Maybe it's the grainy, I don't know what it is, but I don't really eat them. One of my favorite things about gardening this year has been the flowers. Idea that there was that many edible flowers. So you can eat calendula, borage, chives, nasturtiums. You can eat the zucchini flower. You can actually stuff it and like eat it that way, stuff it and fry it. Viola, I had no idea. I guess though that is probably, no, that's not it. Lavender and French marigold. No idea. I had no idea you could eat all those. And I have like a lot of those. I have calendula. I don't have the flowers yet, but they are growing. I do have borage. It's growing. I had chives, which actually I don't think they've flowered yet, so maybe that's why. I have nasturtiums finally started. My other seed just, I don't know, it just wasn't doing well. Zucchini flower, I'm probably not going to eat any of those because I really want the zucchinis, but maybe it's the male flower that you eat. I'm not really sure. Lavender, I do have lavender, and I believe I have these French marigolds, so I'm not sure what my family would say if I brought in a bunch of flowers and put them in a salad, or, you know, put them on the table as like a snack with fruit. All right, I'm trying to stay in the shade. I just like cleaned up, getting ready to go somewhere. I'm trying not to like get all nasty, yucky again. So and plant in July. Yes, we can still put out stuff in July, and I'm pretty excited about that because I think this is going to be a really good year to plant and harvest as much as you can, put as much food away as you can. I'm not really sure what's going on in the world right now. I mean, y'all see the news and stuff, but this might be a good time to just, you know, and if you can't grow a garden, stock up on some of those better canned goods, stock up maybe on some freezer stuff or whatever it might be, and maybe canned stuff like that. I don't know. But anyways, that's not what this video is about. But we can sow beets, cabbage, spring cabbage it says. Probably a quicker, like an early cabbage is what I would think. You can do carrots and green beans, kale, kohlrabi, peas, radishes, broccoli, turnips. I probably won't plant all that. I am going to do some of it, and I'm going to try to do like a fall winter garden. I'm hoping, you see that caterpillar tunnel back there, that we get the plastic on that this year, and we'll get that to where we can plant in there and maybe, you know, extend the season. I can get some tomatoes in there. I don't know. Of course, there are also jobs in July that we have to do. It seems to get busier in July anyways. It seems that way to me. So jobs is basically weed, water, mulch is what this says. And that's really true. I try to keep my beds planted enough to where I do not have to weed a whole lot. I pulled some out today, but for the most part, my beds are pretty like packed with flowers or vegetables or something. And so that I don't have to weed as much. Water, I have that in the irrigation system that I've finished this year. Mulch, I usually mulch with leaves at the end of the year. So some of these beds do have still like a leafy layer that hasn't completely broken down yet, but I would love to like be able to get those truckloads of mulch. But I did buy a small mulcher that I have not got out of the box yet and have not tried because I haven't had time to. But that would be so wonderful, and because we have a ton of trees around here and a ton of sticks in the yard, you know, hanging out, and I could mulch all those and probably put them in the beds. So that's a really good idea, probably a really good video that I should show you. Weed regularly, water to prevent bolting, which, see, I learn something every time I share this with you. Mulch to conserve moisture, and net against birds, dry out garlic, onions, and shallows. I don't know about the nets. I think I'm okay right now. I'm still getting blueberries, or the pink lemonade blueberries. I do need to mulch though. That would really help some of these newer beds that don't have they've got new soil in them, and they're drying out really quickly. And so pinching off the top of climbing beans is not something that I ever really thought of, I guess because they just keep going. They don't like stop. And did you know that you could spray runner beans? You actually can spray the flowers with water, and that deters them from falling and encourages them to form bean pods. I had no idea. Can you hear the thunder? I'm really hoping we get that rain. The other thing that I just shared about not too long ago in a video was the pinching out of the tomato shoots, which we call suckers. Now, actually pick those off or cut those off. Actually, when they're big enough, you probably should cut them. And if you put those in water, you can let them, they will grow roots. Let me get my words out. If you cut them when they are bigger, like plant size, small seedling plant size, and then you put them in a glass of water and you leave them for just a few days, they will actually start producing roots. You know how like a tomato plant, if it falls down on the ground and it touches that ground, it actually puts out more roots. Like the roots will form on that whole stem. So that's what this will do as well. And then you can plant those in your garden. Because I want to show you these. So let's see. Ooh, that one needs to be staked up. But like all these tomato plants right back here along this trellis these are all suckers. That was a sucker. That one over there in the corner is. Most of these smaller ones, I think this one might not be, but some of these smaller ones back here, this great big one was a volunteer, but like this one right here is a sucker plant as well. What I mean by that is that's that plant, that shoot or that sucker that comes out between like a leaf and the main stem and will actually form a new plant, and you want to get rid of those because it takes energy from the plant you're growing, and then you can put them in water and have new plants. I have a head, you know, instead of starting them from seed, I have these that I can just put in the ground after they get some roots on them, and I am good to go. If you have heads of cauliflower, you're supposed to cover those. Hill up brassicas and potatoes, I'm not hilling mine up. I'm just leaving them. I'm letting them do whatever. Take cuttings of herbs. So this is a time that you can actually propagate perennial and shrubby herbs such as rosemary, sage, and thyme by taking some of those stem cuttings and then getting those to root, and you will have new plants. We want to tidy up our fruit, tidy up strawberries if you have those. You want to prune raspberries, tie back your blackberries, all that kind of stuff to kind of keep things tidy. Your grapevines and all that stuff. Now we do have pests like the squash bugs that I just have been having a war with here lately. I have a video on that and you can see my tips that I share about those. There are lots of different pests right now with the height of summer, and I'm not going to go over all of them. I use a natural approach, so with squash bugs I try to pick them off as soon as the plant comes up. I check them. I have a soapy spray that I use. Tape works really well, works really good as well. With like tomato hornworms, I just check my plants and pull them off and feed them to the chickens, stuff like that. That's how I do that. I just basically try to keep it as natural as possible, plant lots of flowers to deter anything from actually coming in and finding stuff. Last thing I'm going to talk about as I walk back to the house and get out of this crazy heat is surviving a summer drought. So surviving this summer when actually we're going into a time when we have less rain, and so it's really good to have irrigation in or have some kind of thing where you can use. I would love to have a water catchment system is one of my next project, so that I can use that rainwater anytime I want to and not have to rely on our city water or whatever you want to call that. Water is pretty valuable right at this time of year, so if you do have a water catchment system, that is wonderful. I am working on that one. You also want to water effectively, so you want to soak and not sprinkle. One of the reasons why I love my drip irrigation system is because I set it for an hour, so it drips in those spots, in those beds, and it just soaks the beds, and then it gets down into the roots and those plants can use it a lot more easily. People ask when the best time to water is. I have mine set for early in the morning, so you either want to do when it's the sun isn't super intense, or it will just kind of evaporate out of the soil. You want to do it in the morning to give your plants time to soak that water up, or you want to do it towards the end of the day but not super late, because that midday sun will it'll just take that water out and you'll be wasting your money, unfortunately, or your hard stored water. Like this little tip though, which plants need water the most. So of course young seedlings. That's why I'm kind of hesitant about starting seeds right now, because we're going on vacation. All those fruits and potted vegetables, leafy greens, potatoes, anything planting in containers, and new fruit trees. Anything that's setting down new roots definitely needs more water. Anything in containers needs water. My vertical gardens are probably not going to make it very well through this heat of summer because they dry out really quickly. I'm headed back in. That is all for July. We got lots to do. I'm really excited to go through this whole book and just kind of see and learn some more stuff. I really like sharing it with you. Be sure to like and subscribe. Leave your tips and tricks below as well. Be sure to comment with anything that maybe you learned or something that somebody might learn from you. And always don't forget to be lovely lights today.